If you're building internal tools in Softr and are still using Google Forms, Typeform, Fillout, or Airtable forms, plus Zapier to just move the data, this update from Softr, it's a big deal. Softr Forms are no longer just about collecting data, but they're now a core part of how your systems actually work. And in many cases, they remove the entire tools from your stack. Welcome back to the Automation YouTube channel. My name is Will with Local Systems, where we help teams build internal tools, portals, integrations, and workflows using no-code and low-code tool platforms without over-engineering things. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you what Softr Forms are, how forms worked before, why this update matters, and we're going to build a real IT request form step by step so you can see how it works and you can get an idea of what's available and also get familiar on how to use the platforms. So let's get started. Now, if you've been using Softr for quite a while, this will all sound really familiar because before standalone forms mostly live inside your Softr app pages. So they were often tied to login users, and for public or internal requests, teams relied on external forms platforms like already mentioned Fillout or Google Forms. So the typical setup looked like this. You had a Google form or Typeform for submission, then you use Zapier or Make to move the data. And you use Airtable or Sheets as the database, and then Softr was just to display the results. This worked, but it was fragmented and over-engineered. But now Softr has standalone forms. These are forms that you can build directly inside Softr without creating a full application, without requiring users to log in, and without relying on external form tools. They're shareable by using the link. You can embed them anywhere and connect them directly to your data and workflows. This is a big step towards Softr being a full stack platform, which it already is by having the database, the front end, workflows, and now forms is actually really useful so you can create full-blown applications. Now, here's a question that everyone's going to be asking. Is Softr Forms free? Well, the answer is yes, partially and intentionally. On the free plan, Softr gives you unlimited standalone forms, unlimited submissions, shareable form links, and embeddable forms. However, advanced features like conditional logic, multi-step flows, workflows triggered by forms, and AI steps requires a paid Softr plan. And this idea is simple. It lets you start for free for basic data capture. Then you can upgrade when forms become part of a real system. So you don't have to worry about paying right now. If you just want to give it a try, just give it a try, see how they work. And if you need to ever upgrade, you can always do so. So this is the new forms in Softr. And now you're going to see apps, databases, workflows, and forms. Within forms, you have the option to start from scratch, or you can use templates that they provide. And at a high level, I want to quickly explain to you what a Softr Forms are. And they are standalone, flexible, multi-step forms that live directly inside the Softr platform, as you're seeing right here. And when someone submits a form, Softr can, 1, store the database internally, 2, send it to tools like Airtable, Google Sheets, or Notion to store the data. Number 3, it can trigger workflows. And 4, it can notify teams that you want to communicate this to. And finally, it can also integrate with external systems via webhooks, all without leaving Softr. But why does this matter? Well, real internal tools don't just display information, they collect requests. So you can think of, for example, in the demo we're going to be building, think of IT access requests, hardware requests, onboarding forms, offboarding requests, and internal approvals. Now, before this update, those forms almost always lived outside Softr. But now that form lives where the system lives, and that's a huge simplification. Now, one of the most important parts of Softr Forms is where the actual data goes. So for example, if we open our YouTube demo that we have been creating, if we go to settings and if we look at integrations, they have a bunch of integrations from Make, Zapier, even Google Analytics. And if we go over to where the send form submission goes to, the destination, right now I have mine set up to Softr Databases, but you also have different integrations like Airtable, Notion, Google Sheets, Smart Suite, Zeno, Monday, even Supabase, HubSpot. You can even connect to Postgres, SQL, MySQL, SQL Server, even MailChimp, email and webhooks. So Softr adapts to your stack instead of locking you into one tool. One thing that I actually want to clarify is that you do not need to create a database field first. When you actually create a new form within Softr. So if we create a new one from scratch, it actually creates a Softr database as the destination. So let me show you that. So right now, if you see send form submissions to built-in database, and that it's talking about the Softr databases. So Softr will automatically create the database and automatically create the fields based on your form. But if you already have a database like I do, you can always change the destination and then select the database. So it can also map that way, and you can map those fields to the form if you already have those existing fields within your database, or you can create it if that's what you want to do, but it's optional. So this makes setup much faster, especially for new systems. Okay, so now let's go over the YouTube demo form that I've created so you can see it in action. But before that, I want to actually show you a few things. So first thing I want to show you are the database. So this is where we're going to be storing all the responses. For my demo, I have created this local system forms that I already showed you earlier. But one thing I want to show you is that every time you create a new form from scratch, it's going to create a backend for you. So that's where it's going to store all the responses. So you can see it created this new one, form values. But you can also convert this to a standalone database, and all you have to do is click the little arrows and click confirm, and it's going to convert it into a database. Now at this point, you can delete it or duplicate it, but before that you cannot delete it. Now let's go back to the forms and let's open up our YouTube demo. I already set my destination to be my Softr databases because that's what I'm going to be using, and I have the source, which is the database that I created for me, right? And that database I'm using is the local system forms. And now what you want to do first is you want to create on the steps tab, you want to enable the steps. So I have 4 steps, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first one, it's the actual form. So this is where I'm collecting the first name, last name, department, manager, and request. The next ones, I have the different options based on what they select when they go to the actual request type. And if you go ahead and double click here, you can actually rename it. You can rename the steps. Now, my logic changes depending on the request type that the user selects. And so for that, I have a new hire setup. So I have set up that step where I have the start date, the role, location, if the laptop is required. I also have the software access, and this is the application name, business justification, and duration on how long they need access to this application. And I also have one for hardware request. This is for the device type, the urgency of the device, and the shipping address. And I also have one for offboarding that I actually did not finish for the purpose of this demo, but this is just access removal. So if we add fields and we go to input, this is where I'm going to select the fields from my database that I actually want to add. So I'm going to want to select the employee name. I'm going to select the department and maybe business justification to know, okay, why is this person being offboarded? And when the user comes and fills this application, the answers are going to be stored in the database that I created. Now, the next step I want to show you is the logic tab. And this is where you actually create all the logic in the form. If we click on the first one, this is where you create different paths of where it's going to go. So for example, if in my IT access and equipment request step, they select software access, is going to jump into the software access step. So in order to do that, what you do is you have to put in a condition. So I'm going to say if the request type, which is the field that I have on the form, includes exactly software access, and I'm going to add it as a custom value, then I click add, then it's going to jump to that step, right? And one thing you need to be careful when you do that is putting it in as you set the option in your database. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So if I double click here, right, I have this options. But when you put it into your form, if you put a space in it, it's not going to take it and it's not going to work. So it's going to have to be exactly the same, no space, or if you do have a space, put a space in the logic. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And then I do the same thing for the other ones. So I keep saying, I have another path to if user goes to hardware request, that's if the request type includes hardware request, the same thing for access removal. and so on. So this is how the logic forms in the form when you're creating it. Then you're setting different paths. Mine is pretty simple, but there can be forms that can be much complicated. And finally, every step that you have after your first step, make sure that if you're at the end of that step of that actual form, then make sure you click on the actual step of the form and you click ending, because that's going to end the form. So let's say for hardware request, if there were more steps, I would select ending on the last step. But since for this example, hardware request is the last step, then that's why I'm selecting ending at this step. So now let me actually give you a quick demo of how this form actually works. So let's go ahead and hit preview, and let's go ahead and fill it out. So with Will Sandoval, and we're gonna select the department. So it's going to be IT manager. And the reason you're seeing the manager fill in here is these forms are pretty cool, because in my data, I also have another table. So actually, let me show you that. So let me go to my databases and the low code forms, and I have another table with managers with me. So then I pull that field, that data into my submissions, and then I mapped that, so which is here, right? That field, it's a related record. So I'm able to select a manager from that table. And then I just map that field into the form. Request type is going to say, let's go and say hardware request. Click next, and device type, they'll latitude, and urgency is going to be low, and we're going to say ship to low-code systems office, and click submit. So that's it. So since I selected the ending after this form, that's why I got the success message that my form has been submitted. Now let's go ahead and look at our data. So see if this was actually stored in our database, and it has. So it got stored in the appropriate fields. And this is how the new Softr forms work in a nutshell. Now to recap, forms used to live outside of Softr, but now they're natively integrated and connected directly to your app logic. And that's what turns Softr from a simple page builder into a full stack internal tool platform. So if you're building an ITSM tool, onboarding systems, or internal portals, Softr Forms should absolutely be part of your setup. And if you need help building systems like this, check out localsystems.com or drop a comment below, and I'll break it down for you in future videos. Thank you for supporting our YouTube channel. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.